this event, which is very special in the sense that for the first time, as long as we know, we organize a topical event on the growth plan. Topical because it's focused on the common regional market and how common regional market and growth plan interact and they support each other.
My government fully supports the objectives of the plan, in particular to bring the Western Balkan states closer to the EU internal market and also closer to accession. We see Berlin process and growth plan as complementary, and we are striving for initiatives. So from our point of view, a good coordination between the Commission, the Regional Cooperation Council, I'm very happy for your presence today, and the Berlin process will be key.
The growth plan that was proposed by the European Commission last November is steadily becoming a reality. The good news is that there is already significant ownership of the growth plan in the region. The European Commission assesses that it's capable of contributing to having a transformative effect on the economies of the region and to increase growth in the region, provided, of course, that the necessary reforms are implemented according to plan.
Where the growth plan kicks in is where the convergence with EU, so closing the convergence gap with EU, comes in for the economies. And while we prepare ourselves at the regional level through the Common Regional Market Action Plan to align the standards and practice with EU, their respective economies of the Western Balkans through the growth plan with policy reform agendas kicks in to close the convergence gap.
The EU auditors welcome the introduction of more stringent conditions for funding by linking payments to the fulfillment of conditions to be set in the reform agendas for the various countries. There is, however, a risk that the disbursement conditions are not ambitious enough and that indicators are not sufficiently clear and measurable. It also remains difficult to ensure that reforms will be sustainable, particularly in view of the region's weak administrative capacity. In addition, the European Commission should not only make observations, but also be able to require Western Balkan governments to review and modify their reform agendas accordingly. We, the EU auditors, also suggest developing relevant guidance for assessing the satisfactory fulfillment of the payment conditions stipulated in the reform agendas.
I can say that within this week we'll also organize communication tables with civil society and businesses on that. On 16th of April we'll deliver the second draft. Mid-May we will adopt the reform agenda, and we expect that somewhere end of May the European Commission also, or the Council, will also adopt the reform agenda.
It is important that this process is widely shared with the Parliament. So also the Parliament prepares a plan based on the economic reform agenda and is involved since now in the inception phase. This would make things easier for Parliament to foresee activities, but also for politicians not to do everything with a speedy procedure as we are used to do.
But we have quite interesting proposals for European Commission and for member states, because we learned our lesson from National Resilience and Recovery Plan. That was done, like this case, quick, with not too much consultation. We were quite active in convincing the European Commission and the member state to put up a monitoring committee in which civil society, the three parts, trade unions, employers, and NGOs to be part. So now we have this monitoring committee with clear rules, where it's also a balance between the members of the public administration, the government, and the civil society, in order not to have the government monopolizing with the numbers of votes the decisions. So basically, all the decisions about National Recovery and Resilience Plan are done with this monitoring committee where civil society is a part. And this is our proposal here for European Commission and for Member States to replicate this.